When learning a second or third language, it's often easier to remember the simpler grammar rules than when you are speaking in your native language. Think about it. When you choose to learn a language, you are consciously choosing and consciously learning that language. But the language that is your native language, you just learn it naturally. You haven't had to sit down and learn it. When you are a baby, you just copy what the grown-ups say. You know an apple is an apple because you heard someone say it repeatedly. But you don't know why it's an apple and not a apple. But you just say it because that's what you've heard and that's what you've learned. You haven't had to learn the grammar rule. This is why most native speakers make more mistakes in their own native language than they do in a learnt language. A really good example of this is nouns and verbs. When I became an English teacher, I had to learn what a noun and what a verb was, even though I've been using the language for 24 years. I had just never sat down and written a list of nouns and verbs. So in today's video, I want to show you 12 very common mistakes that native English speakers make on a daily basis. If you can remember all of these, or already know all of them and make sure you don't make them, then you have a better understanding of the English language than most native speakers, which is a fantastic confidence boost for your language learning journey. Before we get started, my name is Catherine. I am a business English teacher. I work with intermediate to advanced level students, so be sure to subscribe to my channel if you are needing that next step in your English language journey. Our first one today is fewer and less. Maybe this is obvious to you once I say the next sentence. Fewer is used with countable nouns and less is used with uncountable nouns. I have fewer apples in my bag than before. I must have dropped some. I have less money than yesterday. So less uncountable, fewer countable. This seems obvious, but walk into any supermarket in the UK, and I really do mean any, you will see a sign above the cash point or checkout point that says 10 items or less. Which of course is wrong because you can count less than 10 items. Those are countable nouns. So it should read 10 items or fewer, or fewer than 10 items only. But of course this is longer and probably costs more to put on a sign. As I was writing this script as well, I also noticed myself wanting to say less when I should have said fewer. There, and there. This one is so frustrating because it is so simple, but people get it wrong all the time. Go on any social media app and spend 10 minutes looking at native English speakers' posts, and I guarantee you will find someone that has made this mistake. So there with two E's. THERE refers to a point or location. Over there, under there, I was there, he was there. I went to meet her, but she wasn't there. That might be quite a nice way of remembering this. Meet has two E's. You meet at a location. Therefore, two E's location. There with an EI is possessive. So it belongs to someone or a group of someone's. Their hair, their dog, that bag is theirs. EI. Now the one with the apostrophe is a contraction. THEY apostrophe RE. This is a contraction. So a shortening of two words, squashing them together. So it's a shorter way of saying they are, there. Of course, the pronunciation is exactly the same, but the spelling shows us it is they are. So they're going to the cinema tonight. They are going to the cinema tonight. They're not happy with the results. They are not happy with the results. Every time you could swap it out for they are, it should end in an apostrophe RE. Very similar to the previous one, your and your. Again, seen all the time. Native English speakers will get this wrong. Your with an apostrophe RE follows the same trend as our previous one there with an apostrophe RE. It's a shortening of you are. It's a contraction. You're going home. You are going home. You're not nice. You are not nice. You're welcome. You are welcome. Whereas your, Y-O-U-R, is possessive. Is this yours? I don't like your dog. I like your fish. Belongs to you. It's a possessive pronoun. Affect and effect. Or to be honest, the pronunciation is often the same. Affect, effect. There's a slight difference. Affect and effect. Now this one is very understandable because the pronunciation is the same, they mean the same, and the spelling is very, very similar, but we use them in slightly different ways. Affect is a verb, meaning to have impact. So a verb, doing word, talking about an action. His death affected her deeply, the action of impacting her. The outcome of the political election will affect the country, the action of affecting, of impacting the country. Effect is a noun, so the positive effect, the negative effect, the effect of this was. So look at these two examples. When it rains all day, it affects my mood. Used as a verb, the rain has a negative effect on my mood. Or we've got another two examples. The environment is affected when we travel by plane often. Verb, traveling by plane has a negative effect on the environment. Noun. So in spoken English, you don't really need to worry about this one, but in written English, make sure you are using the right spelling of affect, verb, and effect, noun. Could of and could have. Now these are very interesting because I guarantee you if you ask a native speaker which is correct, they won't be able to tell you the answer. We have used this so often in spoken English that it's just become normal to say could of. But could of does not actually exist. There is no grammar rule for could of. It's completely made up by English speakers. But why has it come about? Well, could have, the contraction of could have is could have. Could have, apostrophe V-E, could have. And what does this sound like? It sounds like could of, could have, could of. Especially when said fast, could have, could of. And we use this contraction so often, could have, that we have started to believe that could of is correct. So you will hear people saying, I could have gone to the movies if it wasn't raining. Or I could have had another coffee. But again, completely made up. It doesn't exist. The contraction could have stands for could have, is a shortening of could have. So you should never write could of. You shouldn't even really say could of. This is exactly the same with should of and would of. I should have texted you. I would have sent you a message. It's incorrect. It should have and would have. But again, the contraction is should have, would have. Sounds like should have, would have. This one makes me laugh so much, and I will tell you why. Literally means it happened. It's not a lie. It's truth. It was real. It happened. But we often use it in slang or informal situations to emphasize or create drama. I literally saw a bird get hit by a car. It sounds more dramatic. I saw a bird get hit by a car. I literally saw a bird get hit by a car. It adds more emphasis. But what you are really saying with that sentence is, my real eyes saw a real car hit a real bird. It was real. It happened. It's not necessary and it adds nothing to the sentence. A common phrase you will hear used by younger English speakers. Actually, it was used when I was younger. I don't know if it's still used by younger native speakers. I literally died, meaning I died. It happened. It was real. I actually died. Which of course you didn't because you're here telling this story. You did not die. Or I literally can't. It means you can't do something. You really can't do it. You're emphasizing that you can't do it. But the meaning of the sentence just means, I can't. I'm honest. I'm real. I can't do this. I can't lift it. I can't do it. The message is already there in the sentence. You do not need to add literally. It makes me laugh every time though, because it's like an oxymoron, which is when you have two opposing ideas or words in the same sentence. You can respond to someone, I literally died, with literally? Question mark, literally? It's like you're poking fun at them, and they will respond with literally, like completely misunderstanding that you're poking fun at them. Now, anyone learning American English, this doesn't relate to you, because in American English, practice and practice are spelled exactly the same, both with a C. However, in British English, the noun is spelt with a C. So I haven't had much practice. I need more practice. The noun of practice is spelt with a C, but practice, the verb, is spelt with an S. I am practicing. She has been practicing all day. I need to practice more. So this is another one that only relates to written English and not spoken English, because the pronunciation is the same. But make sure when you are writing in British English, practice with a C is the noun and practice with an S is the verb. It's versus its with an apostrophe S. Now you can probably guess the difference here, so let me quickly test you. Which one of these is the contraction and which is the possessive pronoun? If you said it apostrophe S was the contraction, you would be 100% correct. This is the shorter way of saying it is. So it's raining. It is raining. It's not so hot today. It is not so hot today. But its, no apostrophe, is the possessive pronoun. England is a wealthy country. Its economy is stable. The economy belonging to England. English is a difficult language. Its grammar rules never stop. The grammar rules belonging to English language. So it's with no apostrophe. You will see this a lot in written English as a mistake. People confuse these two all the time. But it is and its are used very differently. So be sure when you are writing, you are using the correct one and only putting the apostrophe when it is a contraction for it is. I was debating whether or not to put this one in the video because conditionals are very hard to understand. There's very small differences between them, and it's quite difficult to remember how to construct conditionals. I do have a conditional simplified video on my channel, and I will put that up here somewhere for you. So go and check that out if you need a reminder on conditionals. The third conditional is always talking about a past event with a guessed or predicted outcome. Past event, so past simple tense. If I had known, I would have come. If I had studied, I would have passed the exam. If I had been healthier, I would not have become sick. Notice the first part to all these sentences is the past simple. If I had. However, native English speakers like to say, if I would have come, if I would have studied, I would have passed the exam. But this is incorrect. There is no conditional that starts with if I would have. It ends with would have, sure, that part is correct, but it is a predicted outcome. We cannot predict the past because it's already happened. We already know. So we cannot say if I would have. We have to say if I had. It's happened, it's past already. Honestly, when I was researching for this video, I realized I make this mistake a lot, but mostly when I'm talking to my family, not with my students. And I think that's because it's become so natural to say if I would have, that everyone makes the same mistake and you all just believe it's correct. If I would have is incorrect, and we just have to say if I had. Similarly to the third conditional, went and gone are often used incorrectly in informal spoken English. Went is, of course, the past tense of the verb to go. I went shopping, I went home, I went with my friend. All past activities. Gone is used as the past participle following the verb have, or as an adjective. So, as the past participle following verb have, we would say, I wish I had gone. I would have gone if it wasn't raining. I wish I had gone with you. It looked amazing. And as an adjective, I turned around and he was gone. I was so excited to eat the cake, but when I opened the fridge, it was gone. We often hear people saying, I should have went, or I wish I had went with you. This is incorrect, as in these cases, it should be gone. We only use went for past simple, a past action that has finished. Who and whom? Nearly finished, so bear with me. I know there's a lot of information here, but if you can remember all of these, you will speak better than most native English speakers. It will also massively help your written English as well. Who and whom? Natives will almost always say who. It's just natural to us to say who. And there is often a debate about when to use the appropriate pronoun here. But the easiest way to think of it is to compare it to he and him. We use he when talking about a subject, a person. And we use him when referring to the object or preposition or the action in the sentence. So example, he is a great teacher. He is the subject here. The person is the subject here. The book belongs to him. The book is the subject here. The book is the focus. So we use him. It flew over him. The subject here is whatever flew over, not the person in the sentence. So again, we use him. So similarly with who and whom. Who refers to the subject, the person. Who would like to go on vacation? Who ate the cookies? We want to know about the person, the subject, that's the focus. But whom should I speak to about my pay rise? The focus is the speaking about your pay rise. The girl whom you met on the weekend was called Jessica. The focus is the meeting and the name of the girl, not the girl herself. So we use whom. If you are confused, try and swap who and whom for he and him. So for example, blank ate my sandwich. Do we add who or whom? Well, would we add he or him? Him ate my sandwich makes no sense, so we cannot use him, meaning we cannot use whom. But he ate my sandwich makes sense, so we can use who. Who ate my sandwich? Try it with this example. To blank are we referring to? So we do have to swap this sentence around to make it make sense. We could say, are we referring to him? But we cannot say, are we referring to he? So in this example, the action of referring is the subject. So we use whom. To whom are we referring to? To be honest, I think whom will be dropped out of the language very quickly because native English speakers rarely use this. I don't think American English speakers use it at all, but I could be wrong. It's considered as quite posh and upper class, so the majority of people do not use whom. However, it is taught to non-native speakers that who refers to the subject and whom refers to the action or object in the sentence. Last one today. This is one that I cannot stand. In my opinion, I think this is so easy to understand the difference. I have mentioned this in another video, I believe. Generally and genuinely. So genuinely is to be genuine, is to be honest. And generally means the majority or average. Generally, most people have a 9-to-5 job, meaning the average person or the majority of people have a 9-to-5 job. I genuinely don't like mushrooms means I have to be honest, I really don't like mushrooms. How did you do? Did you know all of these? Or were there some you weren't sure about? Do you speak better than a native? Let me know in the comments. Have a fantastic week and a good day, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.